afternoon. It's Corey here with Bombshell, JKU. My 2017 Jeep Sport S that really doesn't resemble a Sport S anymore. So, wanted to take you guys through the build today. Have a couple high points to hit, some people to thank, of course. First and foremost is my lighting, which is KC. They give me the opportunity to see everything that I need to at night, from the FE light bar to the FE4s. All of these are wired in through Switch Pro. They all run all of my electronics. The big parts of this build that most people have their questions about, number one, 40s. I love my Mickey Thompsons. I'm notorious for it. Yes, I do want to move to the 42 as soon as I can finance that. But in the meantime, I'm running the 40 Baja Boss, one of my favorites. Suspension, why don't we just go from the ground up? Suspension, we start with our 40s. We have our Dirty Life Mesa Race wheels, 17-inch, unique bolt pattern, and that's because of the Curry Rock Jock Super 60 that I have up front, which is a 538 gear. And in the back, I've got the Rock Jock 70, which is a 40 spline, also 538 gearing. Of course, they're going to be connected. All of that ties into the JE Reel custom drive shafts, leading right into an Atlas 3-to-1 gear ratio, twin speed, mounted up into the center console inside the vehicle. All of that ties right into a brand new Mass Motors 427 that my good friends Denton Racing installed for me. They let me get my hands dirty a couple times too. So, you know, that's the powertrain. That's a 7-liter 427, 625 horses at the crank, about 420 plus or take a few at the wheels, and floating right around 410, 415 for torque. So it's a different beast these days, and a big change from the 3.6 that I did have. Now, all of that kind of goes back into the suspension and how do I keep my ride stable. I love my King shocks, my 3.0 IBPs. Went a little custom with those, slapped in some AGM sliders when we did the rebuild, and then of course we'll wander right back into the vehicle with PRP seats. These are the Comp Elites. A lot of people have a lot of questions about these. It is a suspension style seat that for me works best, whether I'm on the rocks or out in the wide open desert. Most folks know me because I love to crawl. I like to keep things shiny, but I also like to be frank, haul ass. And if I can't say that, I love my speed in the desert. So, you know, a lot of this is just pure custom. This is built for purpose. Like I said, you know, I love speed, I love rocks. I also love to get out to Johnson Valley and spend some time with the racers that are out there with the Ultra 4 series. It's an amazing series, it's an amazing race, and it really puts everything to the test. So getting into that space, I love to keep my gear, my tools, everything nice and stable. All of that leads right back to the back end of this vehicle and my Mountain Co. mounts. These are the large mounts tied to Pelican Air 1557 cases. The reason I went with this is a race-proven product. The inception was race, it was built for race. It is still in the trophy truck, or the T-truck, excuse me if I can't say trophy truck, in the T-truck that the owner, Connor Jackson, is actually racing these days, which I had the luxury of sitting in the car last Sunday for Rage in the Desert, which they came through. They actually took their overall by 8 seconds on Saturday. And on Sunday, they killed it again in the Trophy Truck Series. They ran that course, and they did take first in that too. So again, it's race-proven technology. My gear doesn't go anywhere. And of course, I always love to floor people with this one because I actually run tools in one, game ender parts in the other. The reason I do that is, number one, I've got to fix my problems. You're bound to have issues when you get out in the rocks, when you start going fast. The surprise to this, though, is you're looking at 40 pounds and almost 50 pounds. I dialed it back a little bit to balance it a little bit, but there's just some tools that you got to have, right? So, like I said, with my game enders, I've got serpentines, I've got races, I've got fluids, I've got all those essentials. A lot of this is very unique to the vehicle because it is a unique build, but some of these other parts that I do keep, fluids and some of the others, you know, it's there for my friends to use too, because nobody leaves anybody behind in this community. And, you know, for me and my background, that's essential. Everybody gets on the trail, has a good time. Everybody gets off the trail and has an even better time. It is funny when people break, but you still want to get everybody home. So that's the back end of the vehicle. You know, like I said, with the mounting code, there's something you can always count on. You know, these large mounts, they float between. So if I want to, I can switch places with these. Some of the other plans that I have with, you know, with Connor right now is actually to build a plate, something that I can mount the fridge to, because I do keep a fridge there. Who doesn't like a cold drink or a cold sandwich when they're on a hot trail? We're gonna build one that's gonna attach to the seat mount in the back, and we're gonna see how that goes. We're gonna aggressively test it, if you will. Beyond that, I'm actually probably going to put in another medium mount right behind myself, because rescue gear has to go somewhere, right? And why not have it behind me? Because I'm going to be the one that's always in the vehicle. I'm going to need to get in and out. I need to have quick access to it, because who knows where somebody's going to put themselves. And even if it's me that needs the help, because that's happened once or twice in the past, friends can get into it quickly too. And it's a no-brainer. It seats itself, it locks in, I can bolt it down, I can zip tie it in, I can do whatever I want to so nobody can run away with it. But when it's in the mount, I know it's secure. So beyond that, of course, I like my tunes. I don't really listen to them that much anymore because the engine has such sweet music to my ears. But you're gonna find a lot of JL audio in here. W7 in the rear with a custom box that I Line-X'd. Something built to spec, and by CAD design, it's, you know, getting into a little bit of details because it's tough to build good boxes. That's 1/1000th off on net volume. I take pride in that. My buddy and I spent a lot of time building that one. All of it's tied into JL Audio power, and then an Alpine, I think it's an i409 deck. So it's a lot of fun. You know, other little sweet touches that I did on this was working with Adam, designing a center console. With the 427 and the new transmission, there wasn't a whole lot that I could keep without it looking kind of fugly, to be very brutal. So I started drawing, started designing. He and Andy over at All Day Fab actually pulled that together and made something that's actually just beautiful. So, but don't get attached to it. From what I understand, Adam's adamant about it being a one-off. So you can ask, folks, but that's really number one and the only one there. So along with this, little touches, because I always do get a couple comments about the cage. That was a TIGged cage. I did do TIGging because you can do about 70% of the build inside the vehicle and not have to worry about burning things up with splatter. Right after that, we did a whole lot of cleaning and took it in for a clear powder coat, because what's better than good welds is seeing them, you know, being able to show those off. So yeah, it has a lot of patina, but to be honest, I love it. I love it. Other little touches on the build itself. I did go with braking power. That is an upgrade as well. That's Alcon brakes, Alcon USA. For those of you in the Formula One space and European Series racers, you'll recognize that name. They have an amazing off-road package built for the Currie axles. You can see in the back, yep, those big red calipers, they just barely squeeze inside that 17-inch wheel. So do be mindful of that. You're gonna have to get dynamically balanced, otherwise it won't fit, it won't clear. So you may have seen this vehicle at the Off-Road Expo here in Scottsdale recently. I'm gonna take a little break for the holidays, and then of course, like I said earlier, Ultra 4 is really my space, my love. If you're out at King of the Hammers, please come and catch me if you can. You're probably gonna find me either at Chocolate Thunder, Hammertown, or maybe even back door. But it'd be great to see you guys. Come ask questions.